What's your relationship to the lady that lives upstairs? And he told me, Yolanda Holmes is my mother. I said, this is one of the difficult parts of my job, and that is to let you know that your mother has been killed.
Kwame Wilson lost his mother to gun violence on November 14th.
My mother, she was a neighborhood woman. A guy entered her home, and murdered her.
Ever since the rise of social media, clout has become a currency of its own. From people pulling dangerous stunts to provoking rappers for attention, the desperation for fame in the rap world has reached disturbing levels. But what if someone took it even further? What if a rapper committed the unthinkable, sacrificing the one person who gave him life, all for money, image, and attention? This is the tragic and disturbing story of young QC. But before we get into it, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. The story of young QC begins with his upbringing in Chicago. He was raised primarily by his mother, Yolanda Holmes, who worked hard to provide for him. People close to the family later claimed that QC was spoiled growing up and had a history of lashing out when he didn't get his way. His father, Jeffrey Wilson, was largely absent from his life and was serving a life sentence in prison. Court records show Wilson was convicted in connection with a 1990 case in which he set fire to a home on Chicago's west side, resulting in 2 deaths. He was identified as a gang leader and was charged with murder and aggravated arson. Tragically, young QC would later follow a similar path of criminal behavior. As a teenager, QC became active in the streets and attempted to pursue a rap career under the name Young QC. Like many aspiring rappers, he was desperate to stand out, but his music failed to gain real traction. According to prosecutors, that desperation eventually pushed him toward a plan so extreme it stunned even seasoned detectives. On September 12, 2012, Yolanda Holmes was brutally shot and stabbed to death while sleeping in her apartment. Her boyfriend, William Wyatt, was also present during the attack and was injured while fighting off the intruder. As police investigated the murder, they quickly noticed young QC's behavior didn't align with someone grieving the loss of a mother. Instead of mourning, he was seen living lavishly. Investigators discovered that QC had drained his mother's bank accounts, withdrawn tens of thousands of dollars, and openly posted stacks of cash on social media. He customized the Ford Mustang his mother had purchased for him, threw money in the streets, brought expensive puppies, designer clothes, guns, marijuana, gold chains, and a large collection of Air Jordans. Authorities later confirmed he inherited up to $90,000 through her life insurance and other funds following her death. This reckless spending spree raised red flags. Police launched a full investigation into young QC and his associates. While under scrutiny, QC attempted to control the narrative by appearing at a funeral of another slain teenager.
Kwame Wilson lost his mother to gun violence on November 14th.
My mother, she was a neighborhood woman. A guy entered her home, and murdered her,
He also participated in a television interview where he spoke about his mother's death. However, investigators continued digging, and eventually one of his associates, Eugene Spencer, was brought in for questioning. Under pressure, Spencer cooperated and revealed the truth behind the murder. According to the court testimony, young QC hired Eugene Spencer to kill his own mother, initially offering him $3,500. Spencer broke into Yolanda Holmes' apartment in the early morning hours while she slept next to her boyfriend. Spencer shot her and stabbed her, while QC allegedly instructed him beforehand to make sure the bitch is dead. Wyatt fought Spencer during the attack and later positively identified him as the shooter. Spencer ultimately claimed that after the murder, QC paid him only $70, a detail that horrified both the courtroom and the public. When questioned by detectives, young QC admitted he set up the crime for financial gain, but claimed he never intended for his mother to die, stating it was supposed to be a robbery. Prosecutors rejected that claim, pointing to the brutality of the attack and QC's immediate access to spending on the money. Evidence showed QC withdrew nearly $70,000 from his mother's account within months of her death. A co-worker of Yolanda Holmes later testified that her spending habits were careful and responsible, stating that no loving son would splurge money that way so soon after losing his mother. During young QC's 2019 trial, prosecutors presented surveillance footage and videos of him celebrating shortly after withdrawing money from the bank behavior they argued demonstrated motive and lack of remorse. The jury ultimately agreed young QC was found guilty and sentenced to 99 years in prison. Eugene Spencer, the shooter, received a sentence of 100 years. The case became one of the most disturbing examples of greed-driven violence tied to clout and culture. The story of young QC is a grim reminder of how far some people are willing to go for money and attention. A mother lost her life, a family was destroyed, and 2 men would spend the rest of their lives behind bars, all because of greed, entitlement, and the toxic pursuit of status. In the end, clout faded, money ran out, and what remained was a life sentence that no amount of attention could ever undo.